Commission for Gender Equality has been very well spoken and spoken out on this. There's a number of issues. You'll remember the name Bonangaele from the 12th of February this year, just 29 years old, found in Sebokeng with her throat slashed. Then, after that, the 5th of March, 37-year-old Ntuthela's dead body was found half naked. This was in Andile in Pietermaritzburg. And then just last month, 34-year-old Spamandla Koza was found beaten and stabbed in KwaMashu in Durban. We've just been down to that area, haven't we? His throat had also been slit. Just some of the victims, and there's so many more, of this gruesome hate crime committed against the LGBTQI plus community in the country. So where do we go from here? Let's speak to Busisiwe Dia from the Commission for Gender Equality. Busisiwe, hello to you. Thank you for your time. I'm not sure how many of the conversations you've heard so far, but everyone I've spoken to so far is raising two issues. Government is not doing enough, but B, enough has not been done on the ground by police to protect this community. What's your reaction?
Thank you very much, Gareth. Excuse me. I think I agree broadly with the issues that have been raised, particularly around police visibility, but also lack of police knowledge. You will note that a lot of the issues come from that there isn't a uniform understanding of what hate crimes is in South Africa, for instance. Because we haven't passed the Prevention and Combating of Hate Crimes Bill, Crimes and Speech Bill. So we don't really have a uniform definition of what hate crimes is, and therefore that leads to our inability as from the police to the courts not being able to properly prosecute these crimes as hate crimes. So currently they are treated as any other violation or murder, for instance. And that's an important thing because even within our police database, there isn't an ability to actually capture hate-motivated crimes in our national police database. And this trickles into the provincial branches of the SAPS. As the CGE, we are currently monitoring the ability of the SAPS to actually deal with some of these issues, particularly in relation to GBV. But as the CGE, we understand GBV broadly to include hate-motivated crimes against LGBTI persons.
Where does this training need to start? This way of handling these kind of hate crimes, everyone I've spoken to so far suggesting there's almost an ignorance from the police, which then becomes an arrogance in some of the rural areas. Busisiwe, but give me some practical advice on the ground at a police station. Where does this training start? Is this an SAPS problem? Is this a government implementation problem? Or is it an organization like yours that should be given the authority to train police officers? The reason I keep focusing on the police officers is everyone I've spoken to is saying this is the problem, and it leads ultimately to this secondary trauma, which is why victims are not coming forward.
Excuse me. I'm struggling with the flu. So the SAPS are the gateway to the criminal justice system. In order for you as an ordinary individual, regardless of what crime you're reporting, to be able to access our courts, usually what you do is go to the SAPS, and that is your first point of call. Now, in South Africa, we realized as far back as about 10, 15 years ago that the police did not have the adequate skills and human resources and financial resources. And what was created from that realization or from that diagnosis were Ntuthela care centers. But what you're seeing currently happen, what you've seen the general trend be, is a lack of reasonable financial support of Ntuthela care centers. So what is currently happening is that our Ntuthela care centers do not have the ability to then process the DNA samples, for instance. So we have not the Ntuthela care centers themselves, but be able to take the proper samples, but be able to actually ensure that these samples are properly processed. We currently have a backlog as a country in terms of DNA processing, not only for GBV-related issues, but generally for DNA processing.
And I think that's
so
part
there has been a de-escalation.
There has to be, I think, the issue you've raised, I think, as far as registration and this, the handling of these samples, I think is what everyone has been echoing. I would like to unpack this again later here on eNCA, but for the moment, Busisiwe Dia from the Commission for Gender Equality, you've raised very good points, echoing what a lot of people have been saying. I'm going to say thank you to you in speaking to us here on eNCA.